Welcome back to Keeping Hope Alive. I'm Jo Comerford, and you're about to hear from Amelia Durbin, who's on the Northampton Youth Commission and a rising senior at Northampton High School.
My name is Amelia Durbin. I was born in the Bay Area in California. I've grown up in Northampton, Massachusetts, and I am a rising senior at Northampton High School. I've been doing a lot of advocacy work in the past couple years. I think my favorite thing about it is meeting new people, understanding where other people are coming from and how my needs interact with theirs. And yeah, I love just having conversations and getting to know people in the community. I think similarly, I always get really inspired by hearing the needs that individuals advocate for, and I think, like many people, it really drives me to try to help them achieve whatever change they want to see. I think for this community, I would like to see more collective action. I think, we have quite a lot of power in our voices, and I think channeling it in a way that's connected with each other, that's coming out of a place of, civic respect and engagement, and uplifting the voices of the people who are in need of the most change is really important, and something that I hope this community will kind of rally behind. I think always the first step in change and advocacy is listening, and so I think when we're having these conversations about what the community needs, how we're going to achieve it, it's increasingly important, I think, to be really listening to each other and trying to understand where everybody's coming from. And it's something that's hard to do, and it's, it's a challenging thing to just really, really listen through, different perspectives and really challenging, burdens and roadblocks. So I think that's something that we need more of in general and also in our community. I think the federal administration is basing a lot of their actions in uncertainty, and uncertainty can be really, really scary. And so that is just a lot of concern and fear, and I think is reflected in my community and others across the nation. And so I think for me, channeling that kind of fear around the uncertainty is really important to do in ways that are benefiting myself and my community. And so I think for me, it's been really important, kind of like I was talking about earlier, to just connect with people and, find people who have similar needs and concerns. And it brings me a lot of joy, and just knowing that there are others in the community who feel the way I do and who are ready to, kind of push through the fear and the uncertainty. I think it's really, really valid to be very scared, and I think that's something it's important to recognize. And then, kind of like I was saying earlier, I think there are really important ways to kind of channel those feelings and emotions, and I think it can be really impactful to channel it into action. And so when we are faced with federal blocks or local blocks, I think it's really important that we are kind of finding a place in the community to kind of foster hope and resilience. And I think among my peers and the areas I've been, education and education funding has been really, really prevalent. And obviously for young people, it's something that is very acutely impactful in our lives and our day-to-day. And so, when we're talking about education and the funding, we're talking about our futures, and it's in a very acute way. I know climate change and racial justice, those are also, I think, very prevalent in the community, but not quite as, acute in the day-to-day changes that youth feel and have. And so I think that's maybe why education funding has been so prominent in, the spaces I've been in. And I think that's, kind of circling back to the earlier questions, tackling a local issue like that can really bring quite a lot of change and positive impact. You know, we've been working, youth in the community have been working to kind of bring a narrative of the Western Mass challenges that we have when funding public education. And we brought it to the State House, and there are new provisions in the FY26 GAA that are really beneficial to our areas, and that's just an example of the kind of acute community action that can happen when we really band together. And I think that's something that has brought me a lot of hope, and something that I think we can have more of in the coming months. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was the co-chair of the Youth Commission for the 24-25 school year, and we do a lot of work locally advocating for youth in Northampton. Some of our biggest initiatives are budget, so working with local community members, kind of learning what's going on locally, as well as with other superintendents and school districts in our area and the Massachusetts Education Department. Another big one is climate and sustainability. We've been working on housing and licensing and, districting, restructuring and parking requirements and other sustainability aspects like composting. We also have a subcommittee working on Vote 16. There's a Vote 16 Massachusetts coalition that is working to lower the municipal voting age to 16 years old. So those are some things that the Youth Commission has been doing, and you should definitely come and join if you're interested. We meet bi-weekly on Wednesday evenings. It's a chill time commitment, but you can get involved really quickly and I think it's a lot of fun.